rolandpaint.com. My name's Bob Davis, and in this short series of painting watercolour trees, I thought we'd look this time at painting winter trees, because I know it's a subject that worries people, having to get the trunks and the branches all looking just so. Okay, we don't need many materials. 3 colours: cobalt blue, yellow ochre and burnt umber. A couple of brushes. This is a number 10 round brush, and this small one is a rigger brush. The first brush I'm going to use is the round number 10 brush. Let's see what sort of marks this will make. A nice straight line. But you see how the watercolour paper is helping it to hit and miss. You can make foliage if you want, even though it's a number 10. Okay, let's get an even finer line. In fact, they were invented for painting ship's rigging. Or it's ideal if you want to paint branches and get a little bit of foliage on it. It's also, what I find helps is if you put your little finger on the paper and you run your finger up and down, you can see that, if you run your little finger up and down the paper like that, you can control quite easily how much pressure that brush has on the paper. The more pressure, the wider the line. The less pressure, the finer the line. If you can, try and get hold of some watercolour paper. This is Bockingford watercolour paper. It's quite thick, and you can use both sides as I've done, and you can get that in any art store. It's quite economical, ideal for beginners, but also a third of the way up is draw a very light line. That gives us a sort of a horizon line. And if you want to just be sure about what height your tree is, so you don't run out of space, just draw yourself a little sort of semicircle, like a little ice cream cone. Now what I've done is wet the paper with clean water all the way over it, right down to the bottom. I'm just going to put a fairly strong mix of cobalt blue in the top, and then what I'm going to do is take it up to meet the blue coming down, very, very pale, and I'll bring the blue, very, very pale, to come down to meet the yellow. One hint of that burnt umber in the sky, as long as you keep it moving. Now that's taken me no more than about 60 seconds. Right, first thing I'm going to do is paint this distant horizon here. A few little bushes, very, very pale blue and brown, making into that. I think we'll have a little bit of blue in there without getting it too strong. Right, on to the first tree. What I'm going to do is to use a pale green grey. I think we'll put some of the representation of the outermost branches by this hit and miss effect I mentioned before. Right, and we move on with the rigger. You can see I'm not trying to paint every single twig. It'd be quite impossible. A little bit of darker colour on the right hand side, because I've decided that the sun is coming from left to right, so it's a wintry day, but it's a sunny wintry day. One thing as a painter, you can be God as far as the weather's concerned. You decide what's up. Okay, that'll do now for the background tree. I'll come back down to the main tree. And here I wanted to try to achieve that little bit of a branch that sort of goes round the back and on itself. Now back to the rigger. There's a bolt-on branch, a little bit more. I'm using almost pure cobalt blue there down the side. That's quite nice. You might frighten yourself a little bit with that, but it does now have some character to it. I'm no longer following the pencil lines, incidentally, I'm just going my own way. And of course now I've got the left-hander's nightmare, and that's trying to paint all the branches going the opposite way to the right, because you're almost painting against the grain. And right-handed people have the opposite problem. And the easy answer, I suppose, is to turn the whole painting upside down, but with this drawing board, I haven't got that option, unfortunately. I put some of those representations of the twigs on the outer edges. Quite strong this time because I want this to be the main tree. Okay, I'm just finishing off putting some more little twigs and branches in. You can go on forever more like this, and it is quite therapeutic really, but you've got to stop somewhere. Putting clean water on, I'm going to take some paint out. I want the trunk to catch the light coming from this side, and all I've got to do is to just be fairly liberal with the water, not too mad, but just enough. And don't worry if you cover up a patch that you've just taken out. It'll soon come out again. Just be careful if you press on here, you don't deposit paint you've taken off here onto your sky, or you will be upset. Now then, remember these trunks that I said this one was going to go behind that one? Well, all you need to do is make that trunk, the back one, a little bit darker and a bit of shadow above and below, like that. Make sure that that one is nice and light over the front of it, like that. And if you take too much out, then don't worry about it. Just put some back in, especially while it's damp, because it'll all blend together in a rather nice way. Just agitate that paint a little bit there. You know, you can see I'm doing that, and it just helps to just loosen that pigment that's dried. The tree is firmly anchored into the ground, it's not. That's just this little doodle. And for those of you who don't know what a doodle is, well, in our part of the world it just means a little sketch. Don't overdo it. Always remember this is the supporting cast to the main players. This imaginary tree coming in from the left. Well, you're the artist, it's your world, why not? Why shouldn't there be a tree there? In fact, even more so, why shouldn't there be another tree in the foreground like that? Be brave sometimes, if it goes wrong, it's only a painting. Right, I'm going to stop fiddling now, or I'll fiddle it to death. So there we are, winter trees in watercolour. I hope you found this useful and I hope you've enjoyed it. And more importantly, I hope you'll have a go yourself. Remember, whatever you do, enjoy your painting. There's plenty more to see on howtodrawpaint.com, and I hope you'll come back very many times. See you soon.